Hello, my name is John Watson, and the video you're about to see is mine and mine alone. The opinions I use here are mine and mine alone, and I am totally responsible for the photos and video content of this film. I've caught a lot of grief about some of the pictures you're going to see from fishermen, and I don't mean to hurt those people or their families. It is my sole intention to simply tell the truth here, and in my opinion, nothing that's being caught in these waters today is safe for human consumption. We left Lakefront Airport and flew down the Mississippi out to the Gulf of Mexico. Along the way, I took these shots of the river for color and background to use later in the video. That's the normal color of silt in the Mississippi River. This was altogether something different. Deep beneath the tide line was that familiar purple color that I'd seen back in July and August. We didn't get any samples. You can't do that from an airplane. But it had all the characteristics of oil. At this point, we began to smell oil a little bit in the airplane. It wasn't real strong, but faint whiffs of it from time to time. Where it seemed to be the thickest, the mixing of the Mississippi River water with this other stuff had a light sheen on it. Hard to detect, but it was there. This is the Mississippi River water, and this is something else. There's a sheen on this water, and there's dark brown streaks underneath. Here the rainbow shows up. This is just off Isle Grande Terre. All of this is heading in toward Grand Isle. A lot of things have been said about these photographs, and a lot of things have been said recently about algae blooms and silt from the Mississippi River. But neither one of those produced rainbow. An operator in the Gulf of Mexico has recently admitted to having a spill. He claims responsibility for this, but only for 5 gallons of oil. Does anyone really think that the American public is that stupid? These tide lines were streaming oil. This is Mississippi River water. And this is what's out front. And this is water that's open to shrimping. Sheens coming in on the horizon that were miles long. Rainbow on the water. And this funny color of purple deep down inside. And yet there it was. A shrimp boat with its nets in the water, catching shrimp to send to a table somewhere in Middle America where nobody sees what I see. Look at the oily looking substance under the rigging of this shrimp boat and ask yourself if you'd want that on your dinner table. The last thing I want to do is to hurt the shrimpers or hurt the fishermen in this region. I don't want to hurt the economy in this region in any way. I think that whoever's responsible for this should be paying these people to take their boats out of the water until we can figure out what's going on. This particular scene has caused me a lot of trouble because the fishermen down there, some say that this is river water. Some say that it's an algae bloom. I see 3 colors in this, and I'm scared of all of them. Until we know for sure exactly what's in this water, I don't think the American public should be used as guinea pigs. Our primary route took us west of the Mississippi, where there was obviously silt and sediment coming out of the mouth of the river, but there was something darker on the horizon that was pushing in and mixing with the silt. We found the area to be most heavily impacted between Bay Joe Wise and the west end of Grand Isle. The pass between Grand Isle State Park and Isle Grande Terre seemed to be getting hit the worst. It was funneling between the islands back into Barataria Bay. There were already streamers coming around the end of the island that showed plenty of rainbow. Early on, I was accused of overreacting and calling every tide line oil, but it's hard to deny the rainbow color in what I'm seeing. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, chances are it's a duck, and this sure looks like oil. It was obvious from the plane that whatever this substance is, it was washing up on the beaches from Isle Grande Terre all the way to the end of the west side of Grand Isle. The deep purple coloration could be seen coming in, and along with it were the stains on the beach. We found this cleanup area, but nobody was home. Rumors were that they had been spraying from four-wheelers up and down the beach, Corexit or some kind of chemicals into the water to try and cause this stuff to disperse. When we look closer, evidence of containers on the beach suggests that this may be true. Whatever it is, something's coming ashore, and I call it oil. It's too early in the year for this to be an algae bloom, and with the Mississippi River running at its winter high, I doubt very seriously if there's a lot of dredging going on in there that could be causing this maroon-colored stain in the water. As we circled around the west end of Grand Isle, we spotted something white in the water. It was directly in the stream of oil that was coming around the tip of the island through the pass. It turned out to be a bull redfish. Although we didn't see many dead animals in the water, it was suspicious to me to see such a fish laying in the channel where there was this much oil. They've hardly had a chance to clean the beaches on Grand Isle from the last episode until now here comes another onslaught. The story of the oil in Louisiana was bad enough, but the next day we flew to Dauphin Island where the mayor had confirmed that there were petroleum products in the water that had been tested. This is the water pouring out of the Mobile Bay, and yes, it has a lot of sediment in it, but it looks nothing like the Mississippi River when you compare. As we flew west from Mobile Bay, I was startled by a color shift when we got to Horn Island. Here again we started seeing that purple streaking in the water, only this time it was even more dense and seemed to be thicker under the surface of the water. There's absolutely no way that an algae bloom and sediment from the Mississippi River could be causing this on Horn Island this far to the east. This was something new and different, and it tells me that we've got a bigger problem on our hands than just a 5-gallon spill in South Louisiana. You have to remember that the people who are telling you that this is algae and Mississippi River water are the same people that told you that there was no oil lost on April 20th, 2010 in the first report. And they're also the same people who accepted BP's claim that their emergency disaster response plan wouldn't harm the walrus in the Gulf of Mexico. Give me a break.